Methods of teaching reading skills. Let's look at that. Reading between lines. This is very similar to what we say looking at the inference, or also we can say looking at the context. But sometimes reading between lines does not really have a context. It has something to do with what the writer wants the reader to look at, just using his own common sense or the hints that the writer is giving in the text. So reading between the lines is very much common for the secondary level students or higher school level students. It is not usually used for the primary school, but maybe in the last year of the primary school, the teachers may give a hint of reading between the lines for the students, especially who are doing some poetry. The higher level students need to do a lot of reading between the lines because they need to use a lot of inference and also a lot of context when they are writing in their essays or they are writing something to do with literature. Usually the students who are good at writing the language which has more context or which has more inference are taken to be the advanced level students. Therefore, if we are expecting our students to reach a certain level, especially for an examination or such examinations which evaluate the English language skills of the students, there it is important for our learners to learn how to read between the lines. But reading between the lines can also create a bit of confusion and misunderstanding amongst the students. The teacher needs to make it very clear for them what exactly is meant by reading between the lines. Sometimes the students may mix up the literal meaning and the reading between lines technique and may get more confused. So the teacher needs to guide them to understand what is the difference between reading between lines and when is it required to read between lines. Usually the texts which do not express opinions very openly have a text which is written to be read between the lines. So these are those subjects where the students need to look at the hidden meaning and they have to sort of make a conclusion by themselves. In English language testing, it is commonly done. A particular exercise is given for the students to evaluate the reading between lines efficiency amongst the students. And that is actually given in the reading paper where the meanings are not really clearly expressed. They are hidden somewhere between the lines and the students are asked questions based on that. The students have to sort of make out the answer between the lines which is given there, but it is not openly expressed. The students need to make out and conclude their answers in order to find the hidden meaning which is given in the text. That is quite a skill which the teacher needs to inculcate amongst the students, and that can only be done when the teacher is not using a text which is very direct. The teacher needs to find texts which have indirect meanings in the lines, and therefore the students would be able to find out what is being asked is not directly written in the text, but it is indirectly mentioned. Usually the students of literature have to do this exercise more because literature has more than one meaning. Whenever one sentence is said by a speaker or a character in a novel, it may have more than one meaning. And therefore, especially for the students who are doing English literature, the teacher needs to do this exercise quite often to make them understand how to read between the lines.